The next thing we're going to look at is our soil structure. And as we do our soil structure, we can start to think about porosity, we can start to think about the mottles and stuff. To do that, like I said, I'm going to make use of my beat sheet, and I'm just going to lay it down in the furrow here in front of me. And we're going to use this basically as a sorting surface. So again, instructions are inside the guide, and they tell us that we basically at this point want to lift really a spade's depth and a square spade's worth of soil. And we're moving into structure. Again, there's information in here about why structure is important. Now, a few times we've done this, we've hit really hard soil. Today is a bit of give, so it's not too bad. So we've basically lifted up a spade depth by a spade square's worth of soil. And the next thing we're going to do is what's called the drop test, which will be the start of how we actually start to assess that soil structure. We're basically going to drop the soil into the box from a height of roughly 1 meter. Each bit of soil, in theory, gets sort of 3 drops into the box. And anything that's sort of fist size or above, we want to pick up and drop again. So we've lifted our spade of soil, we've done the drop 3 times from a height of 1 meter into our box, and that's going to give us our aggregate structure. Now we're going to tip that out onto the beat sheet, and we're going to separate the aggregates. This is easier to do with somebody else, and the best way to approach it is to decide which end of your sheet's for your big bits and which end's for your small bits, so you don't end up working against each other. But I'm going to move my big bits down to this end here, the larger pieces, the moderate pieces, just maybe brushing up some of the smaller ones, a few more moderate pieces there. And we start to see just maybe how these aggregates are distributed. It's fairly rough and crude, I'll grant you, but it's also quite effective. So back in the VSA scorecard, we've got a series of images. So poor structure, really large clods that we don't really break down much more. What we're looking at here would probably be sitting somewhere along the moderate score line. So some largish, some smallish ones, and then into lots of fine. Really good is when you've got mostly that largely beautiful friable soil, nothing too large. So I'd probably score this a 1 out of 2. So while we're breaking up that soil, it's also a great chance to look for the earthworms, because earthworms is another one of our assessments. In fact, it's the only biological assessment in the VSA. Now, I haven't seen any in this particular sample, and to tell the truth, in the 300 or so of these that we've done currently across the industry, we've only found earthworms at 3 sites. In several sites, though, we have seen signs of earthworm activity, so there might be holes or burrows through some of the larger aggregates, but there's nothing like that here, so my earthworm score will also get me a 0. So having looked then at our texture and our structure, quickly done our biological assessment for earthworms, we can then move on to some of the other features that often have a more chemical aspect.